obsession is real, people. The obsession is real.
Shall we begin? Let's begin now.
Hey, what's up, internet? My name is Nikki, and today I will be doing a book talk on The Dream Thieves by Maggie Stiefvater. This is the second book on the Raven cycle, and I just finished it, and I cannot tell you how big the obsession is. Like, I am currently fangirling so hard after finishing this book, and I just really want to talk about it, and that's basically what this video is. I am not reviewing it just yet until I finish all 4 books, because I want to just review them together since they are connected. Quick thing before I get into it is that I would try to keep this as spoiler free as possible, but I am sorry if I do spoil something because I'm really excited to talk about this and actually have words about it because I'm so in love with this book. Once I get carried away, I tend to forget, and so like I said, if I do spoil something for you, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to, but it will be as spoil free as possible. If the editing in this video kind of looks weird, it's because I said some stuff that I shouldn't have. Just throwing it out there. Okay, let's get into this. So before we get into the whole book talk, let's talk about the plot first. Okay, so the book starts off where the last one ended with, like literally on the last page of it. It kind of just continues from there. And so we start off with first Stiefvater's ley lines have been awakened from the events that occurred in the first book. The ley lines tend to short circuit Henrietta, which is the setting of where this book is, and it tends to drain a lot of energy at once and then just go poof, disappears for hours on end, which is kind of a problem because they kind of need those ley lines for certain events, but that's kind of a spoiler, so I'm not gonna go into that. Anyhow, that's what's happening, and between the Raven Boys and Blue, you would assume after the ley lines are awakened for Stiefvater, you would think the group would be happy. That is not the case whatsoever. The friendship between the Raven Boys plus Blue, it's kind of shifting between the 5 of them, like something isn't right since the events that happened in Stiefvater. And what else is happening is Ronan. We tend to find out what is Ronan's big secret that we kind of knew already, that he was hiding something from the Raven Boys and Blue, but they didn't know what it was until now. He kind of confessed in the last page, like literally last page of the book. I shouldn't even say the last page, it was literally the last line. He kind of told us what his secret was, and it kind of goes into that. Basically, the whole book is about Ronan. And so while we're discovering about Ronan's little secret, we also get introduced to some new, I guess, I don't want to say bad guys, but just introduced to some new characters are not necessarily good. And one of these new characters that we get to meet is looking for something called the Grey Worm. And he's convinced that the Raven Boys have it, but he doesn't actually know what it is. No one actually knows what the Grey Worm is except for one character in particular, and he's not giving up what this object or thing is. So that's basically the plot of this whole book. Ronan's secret keeps Waters awake, and some guys are looking for something that Gansey and the rest of the gang are looking for as well. Or are they? To be honest, September wasn't really my big month of reading, so I ended up audiobooking this book, and I suggest it immensely. If you want to audiobook something, I say go for the Raven Cycle series because it is, all 4 books are read by the same guy, Patton. He's the guy who did Armageddon, and he also was the coach in Remember the Titans. Great movies. Anyways, Patton is amazing narrator. Like, I love it, especially how he does Ronan Lynch's voice. I died. It is beautiful. I love it. And I'm also happy that he reads all 4 books because there are certain novel series that do not keep the same voice actor for all of them, and it makes me really sad. But yes, I suggest it and go for it because, like I said, I loved how he did Ronan Lynch's voice. Some other things I want to talk about the book is the relationship between Adam and Gansey. From the very first book, from like literally the first chapter that we actually meet Adam, we kind of already know there was a strain between their friendship, but it's one of those strains where it's like a love-hate relationship where he doesn't want to be with Gansey, or I shouldn't say be with because it sounds like they're going out, but you get the point. Their relationship is kind of strained because they're the complete opposites of each other. One is loved by their family, the other one has never been loved by their family, and they're just the bipolar opposites. And I think it's one of those things where they just attracted each other and they were trying to help each other out. And in this novel, we kind of see how much Gansey actually cares about Adam and how much Adam despises Gansey for caring so much. Like, it pulls at the heartstrings so much because you just want to yell at them. It says that you guys are best friends, that you guys can do anything together. You guys woke up the ley lines together. Like, come on. So our next Raven boy is Noah, which I love because we get a little more a different side of Noah because he's more in this book. You kind of see him as a hero, as a friend. The relationship that he has with Ronan is so cute. It is adorable because Ronan, he's like the older brother taking care of his cute little younger brother. He goes like, nobody messes with him except for me kind of deal, and I love it. And also Noah is having a really hard time, especially since Cape Water ley lines have awoken, but like I said, they're not reliable, and since they're not reliable, Noah kind of needs them to be reliable, and that's all I'm gonna say about that. That's all I'm gonna say about it. My other favorite part of this book is there's a whole chapter that Blue and Noah end up being together for the whole chapter, and I kind of love this chapter alone is because of Blue and Noah, and just you kind of see the relationship between them because from the first book, Blue has always been comfortable with Noah. She always liked being around him, and she adores him like a little brother. Well, that's how I see it, like a little brother. And so in this chapter, Noah kind of ends up returning the favor to Blue by helping her out with the issue that she's been having to realize something about herself and stop denying the inevitable, I can't say the word, you know what I'm trying to say, that it's gonna happen eventually and that she should be prepared for it and not try to pretend that's not coming whatsoever. It kind of goes like there, and I literally cried in this chapter because of what Noah confesses to Blue about and what Blue responds by. It just broke my heart. I was like, Noah, why did you have to do that to me? Why? You're such a sweetheart. Give me a minute. I would talk about Blue a little bit more, but if I do, then I'm probably going to spoil something. I just want to say that I swear her family gets into so much trouble, and it doesn't even relate to the Raven boys whatsoever. It's just them being psychic. That's it. Last but not least is Ronan Lynch, and he is my favorite character of all of them. I adore him. I love him. This whole book was about him, which I was like, yes for. And it was really interesting because we kind of get to know more about Ronan, about his secret is revealed through this, and kind of like how about his family life and how he became to be the Ronan that we know now. I don't know about anybody who's actually read this book if they kind of saw what I saw, but we kind of meet a new character called Kavinsky. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. Anyways, we kind of meet him, and for some reason in my head I found like that Ronan could actually have been Kavinsky if without having someone like Gansey to help him out after what happened to his parents, of like his family life. I feel like if it wasn't for Gansey, he probably would have been one of Kavinsky's goons because they kind of have like the similar life sort of, except for one aspect about their fathers. And I feel like if Gansey wasn't in the picture, Ronan would have been like Kavinsky. And also the fact that I also liked about the whole aspect between Kavinsky and Ronan, because most of the chapters is between them two, is that they kind of, I want to say that they were kind of flirting back and forth, and I loved it. It was amusing. I liked it, especially like Gansey's little quirks against Kavinsky and the way how much Kavinsky despised Gansey. And by the end of the book, I kind of understood why, because we kind of learned something else about Ronan. And like I said, I listened to this in the audiobook, and I was outside when I was listening to like the last chapter of it, and I started screaming because one of the things that Ronan says is that his second secret is something, and he says a name, and I for one believe it was a love confession. And if you read all 4 books, do not tell me. I just want to know, and if I'm wrong, Maggie Stiefvater, why would you do this to me? And also it confirms something else that Kavinsky kind of throws at him. I just love the relationship between Kavinsky. He edged him on, and we kind of got to see a really good side of Ronan and see what kind of person he was. That is my book talk of The Dream Thieves by Maggie Stiefvater. That is it for my book talk. I hope you enjoyed it. Please tell me if you read this series, what you thought. Did you think the same thing I did? Please no spoilers because I want to read this in slow pace. So yes, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more, please subscribe. If not, that's cool. I tried to upload Monday, Wednesdays, or Fridays. Okay, and I'll catch you later. Whoop.